So today, I'm from Singapore Environment Council, all right, not-for-profit and non-governmental organization. So today, I'm here to share with you more about eco-certifications and the role eco-certifications play in our environment, all right? So we'll take it easy, we'll go through the paces, and then we'll come to the gist of it at the end of the slides, all right? Okay, so this is the outline of the presentation. All right, so I'll just skip through this one. Okay, so let's start off with something light-hearted. All right, so you see the first picture there, people seated on a train, all look pleasant. And then the second picture shows, wow, all right, a couple of people bloated, oversized, overweight. All right, so basically this is a result of what do you call unsustainable and constant consumption, right? So we don't want this situation, right? Okay, so as consumption rises, there's also the other issue of waste, all right? As we consume a lot, there's more waste generated, all right? So that's the essence and that's the link between consumption and waste generation. Okay, so these are some pictures just to share with you and start off on a light-hearted moment, right? You can see all these waste dumps, landfills, you know, some places in the world where people live beside all these waste dumps, right? Okay, so more pictures here. So I think these were taken probably in India, where there's no sorting of waste, no segregation of waste, and it's just a mess, all right? So thankfully here and probably in Singapore, I think we are all well sheltered, you know, our waste is brought away to somewhere far, far away and disposed of. All right, in the case of Singapore, we have the offshore landfill, so our waste is brought after incineration onto the landfill, right? So that's how distant we are away from the waste that we generate. Okay, so more pictures. So the situation is just not in Asia, right? Some of the pictures here, I think, were taken from Europe as well. You can see the coastlines of certain places being, lined with waste and all that. So this leads to all forms of pollution, you know, water pollution, air pollution, and everything else, basically, right? So just not in Asia, waste problem is all around the world, all right? And it all starts with consumption, all right? That's the root cause of it. Okay, so these are some figures from the Singapore's perspective, right? Latest figures, we don't have the 2014 figures yet, so we base it on 2013 figures, right? You could see that the top three types of waste disposed of in Singapore: plastic, food waste, and paper and cardboard, right? Plastic is very high because we are really, really dependent on plastic. Our bottles are made out of plastic, and we are overly reliant on plastic bags, right? Firstly, it's because it's light, it's durable, you know, can bring it anywhere. So that's why we are highly reliant on plastic, and that's why we have generated so much of plastic waste. All right, the second one is another concern: food waste. The food waste numbers in Singapore have reached a all-time high. So right now, the government is working on certain projects to do a survey to find out what's the cause of food waste and get feedback and comments from the ground to see why people are wasting food and what are the programs we can work on that. So this is in the pipeline, all right? So as far as recycling is concerned, numbers are not too good, and many of these initiatives are basically industrial-led, right? Very little of, you know, domestic recycling taking place. So most of the numbers you see here, 11, 13, and 54, all of these are all basically industrial-led initiatives, basically. Yep. Okay, so next issue, what is environment, all right? I think the word is very broad, very subjective, all right? It's up to how we define environment, all right? Environment can be our home, environment can be the earth, and environment can be this place, all right? This place is an environment, all right? We are seated here conducively, this place is environment. And of course, your office, all right? This is something I'll cover later. Your office is another built environment. So what we subject environment as and what we define environment as is highly subjective, all right? But nonetheless, it's an environment, and we should do our part to take care of it. Okay, so I'll be touching on office right now, all right? So for offices, all right, the first thing is the sick building syndrome, all right? Where there's the indoor air quality. I believe many of you would have heard about it, and all sorts of pollution, especially from particulate matter emissions and also ozone emissions coming from your printers and VOCs from your paint. All right, so all these are emissions and signals of poor indoor air quality. So these are some things that we'll be addressing by our eco certification schemes. Okay, same thing goes for office products, all right? Office products, a lot of them contain harmful chemicals as well. So it's up to us to make the right decision in what we choose, all right? Same goes for household products, all right? Harmful chemicals, and also important to use low energy, high energy efficiency, and good water efficiency based products. That's very important. So there are many rating systems available on the market, and these are things that we can purchase to use in our households and our offices, all right? Okay, again, energy efficiency, all right? Our lighting, all right? Now there's LED lights. Though they are slightly more expensive, all right? They are more energy saving, all right? And also we can use natural ventilation, right? This is one very important thing that many a times we miss out on, the use of natural ventilation instead of artificial, cooling and ventilation. For example, our HVAC systems, our air conditions and stuff like that, right? And also important to green our surroundings, all right? These days we see a lot of green buildings coming up, sky gardens, sky roofs, green roofs, green walls. So this is a way we can green our environment through infrastructure methods, all right? And also how you manage your stormwater and rainwater runoff, right? Some people have rainwater harvesting systems on their offices, all right? I believe there are some booths here who are marketing these things, all right? Okay, so what are the problems facing Earth, all right? The most common word here is pollution, all right? Air, land, water, deforestation, climate change, another key issue, all right, that's been talked about recently on and on, all right? And also all sorts of diseases going on, all right? The spread of diseases right now, Ebola and everything, all right? So a lot of things happening right now, and I think the root cause of it all boils down from pollution, all right? So what we need to do is relook at certain issues, so that a lot of also other animals who have been their existence has been threatened by this pollution, all right? So it's a lot of problems put into one, and this is something that we can address by the purchasing decisions that we make in our daily lives. Okay, so this is a breakdown of carbon dioxide emissions in Singapore, all right? You could see that the numbers are pretty high for the industrial sector, all right? 54% in 2005. And these are all estimated figures. And in 2011, we had around 56% of emissions coming from industries. And we can also see that the overall numbers for total emissions have also increased from 2005 to 2011, around a good 18 million increase. And we also projected for 2020, this was something done by the National Climate Change Secretariat in Singapore, which is under the Prime Minister's office, all right? Projection rates for 2020 are much higher as well, projected at 77 million, all right? And also more emphasis is placed on the industrial development of around close to 60%. So you can see that we are very carbon dependent, all right? A lot of our activities are carbon intensive, and we have projected that in our 2020 numbers for carbon emission. So what can we do, all right? That's the key essence of this presentation. What can we do, We know the fact that all our, processes, our activities are all carbon intensive. So what's the solution, all right? So I'm here to bring you the solution, all right? So what we do is we would like to share with you eco certifications, right? Eco certifications, there are different types. So the best one would obviously be the third-party certification, which is offered by many agencies. For example, LEED Building. LEED is one of it. And then there's also other, certification that is going on, right? Green Mark. Green Mark is the Singapore version of the LEED, all right? I believe Malaysia also has its green building index and stuff like that. So all these are certification schemes, all right? And I'll share more with you as we move on. And also another one is labeling, all right? Labeling also comes type 1, type 2, and type 3, all right? So a lot of labels out there. And again, it takes a lot of awareness and education on our part as consumers to know and choose the right label, all right? Okay, so what constitutes eco-certification, all right? The first and primary most important thing would be life cycle considerations, all right? From cradle to grave, basically, all right? How a product is manufactured, all right? All the way through how it's disposed of, all right? So new concepts are coming into this, like product take back, extended producer responsibility, all right? So all these are new concepts that are coming up to encourage life cycle usage of your products, right? And obviously they have to be toxic free, you know, ensure at the same time that it performs with the necessary quality. And as I was saying, the recyclability and the reusability of the product itself, all right? And most importantly, the label has to be trustworthy, all right? Has to be verified by third party, endorsed, and obviously backed up with the necessary documentation and evidence, yeah? Also has to meet the necessary health and environmental standards, and also this in turn help to achieve our environmental goals. Okay, so all this, what does eco-certification do, all right? You might wonder, say, so these are the key benefits of eco-certification, right? Better usage of your resources in your organization, and obviously that translates to lower costs, right? I think cost is the key word here. A lot of us try to, you know, look at the economic benefits of our policies and our operations. So, and using sustainable products, using products that are energy efficient can allow you to operate at the lower costs in your organization, right? So it's just not technology and infrastructure. We also have the behavior aspect, which I'll cover later. Okay, so this is probably the footprint you can reduce by choosing a eco-label certified product, right? So there's, you know, the delta portion is the tremendous amount of reduction in carbon footprint, right? So as more of us jump onto the bandwagon, I'm sure our combined efforts can lead to greater change, right? And then we can see our carbon emission levels dropping for, let's say, maybe not in the near future, but probably in 2020 or later than that. Okay, so yep. So these are the direct environmental benefits, all right? This is just a table of the electricity generated, you know, and the water usage and stuff like that. And you could see that the amount saved has reduced, all right? Okay, these are the direct benefits. But what are the indirect benefits, all right? Basically, you set a benchmark. Your organization sets a benchmark for other companies to follow and take the lead. So that's very important. And also, you know, it aids in your procurement policies. I know some countries have this GPP, which is the Green Purchasing Policy, where they are required to purchase green products in their organization. So that's very important as well, all right? And also helps you promote your organization as a green and environmentally friendly organization. Okay, so the first project I'll share with you is Project Eco Office, which is a initiative by the Singapore Environment Council together with our partners, City Developments Limited. All right, this started in 2002. All right, it's been running quite successfully. All right, it's basically focused on behavioral changes. All right, not so much on hardware aesthetics. All right, it's basically your daily behaviors and how your behaviors and practices can lead to a better environment at your workplace and also lead to cost savings for your organization. All right. Okay, so this is another project. It's called Project Eco Shop. Okay, this is a joint initiative again by ICC together with SMRT. All right, our mass rapid transit rail service providers in Singapore. Okay, same concept here again. That was for office, but this is for shops. Again, promoting change in behavior, attitudes, and also instill a green culture in your shop, all right? So we have just started this in 2013, all right, in July last year, and we're trying to get more shops on board to be certified as eco shops, right? Okay, so this is the difference I was sharing earlier, the hardware and the hardware, okay? So two different things, all right? So what we are focused on the eco shop and eco office is the latter, which is the hardware, all right? Okay, more on habits, your daily practices like switching off your lights, switching off your monitors when you're going off to office or going for lunch, you know, making use of recycling bins in your offices, and also at times when you don't need the aircon, you could always switch it off and you can always use fan or, you know, just open up your window. So all these are small things that go a long way to making change, environmental change, right? So there's no need to, you know, invest in high-tech motion sensors for your buildings, you know, installing a lot of photic aircons, refrigerators, and stuff like that. Simple things like switching off your lights can go a long way, right? In terms of reducing the amount of energy you use in your office, as well as eventually to save the cost. Okay, so a lot of type of eco labels, type 1, type 2, type 3, all right? The type 3 is the Singapore eco label, all right? So basically, the key aspect is third-party assessment and validation. That's very, very important, all right? So what we are administering is a type 3 eco label, which is multi-criteria. So what I mean by multi-criteria, takes into consideration all aspects, right? Not just energy, but everything, right? Your water usage, your waste disposal, how you do your waste disposal, and how your product is manufactured. So that's what we mean by multi-criteria. Not a single criteria like energy rating systems and stuff like that. So it's very multi-criteria. So very important to be third-party assessed and verified. That's very important. Okay, so this is the Singapore Green Label, all right? One of ASEAN's premier eco labels, all right? We launched in 1992. That was under the Ministry of Environment, right? And then we began administering it in 1999. Okay, in 2003, we became a member of the Global Eco Labeling Network with about 25 other countries from all around the world, right? So till date, we have certified around 2,600 products and have certifications in close to 22 different countries, right? In fact, we have a good, strong base in Malaysia itself, where we have a lot of clients who certify their products with us. Okay, so yeah, so we have clients coming and telling us that, hey, you know, eco-labeled products does make a difference in their company. So this is an example of Pacific Light Power, all right? So this was featured in, I think, in the print media, all right? So they have made use of SGLS certified products, and their practices in their office has resulted in greater energy usage and efficiency and resulted in cost savings. Okay, this is another initiative, all right? This was used in Skyview Condo. I think this is in somewhere in Singapore, Bishan to be exact, all right? So they included sustainable products and eco-labeled certified products in their operations. So that's something laudable, and we hope that many organizations take this lead and, you know, incorporate eco-label certified products in their operations and infrastructure building. Okay, so paints also, you know, all these days technology has advanced, so people are using low VOC paints, right? Nippon, Juton, ExxonMobil, all these are our clients, and they've gone for low VOC paint as well. Okay, so these are just some of the clients that have certified under us, all right? And most of them are in fact here, I believe. Not most, but some of them. Goodrich is here. I think we also have Fuji, all right? So they have their products certified under us. So this list is not exhaustive, all right? We have a good 600 over companies having certified their products with us. Okay, so these are just case study examples where basically using greener products, certified products, and verified products can can result in reduction in energy use, reduction in wastage, and stuff like that, right? And how does this whole thing work? All right, the demand and supply of eco-label or eco-certified products are based on a simple demand and supply principle, where basically when demand increases, there will be more supply, and there can be a possibility where demand outstrips supply, and this eventually push down the prices of eco-label or eco-certified products. Right now, eco-labeled products or eco-certified products tend to be slightly pricier than normal products, right? So it comes at a premium, all right? So this is something that we could possibly push for or advocate for, and hopefully it happens in the near future. Okay, so here are real life case studies, all right? City Development Limited, they have reduced their energy usage and consumption tremendously, right? Through their global operations. And also Ricoh, another Japanese printing company, they have also, in fact, they have many of their printers certified under our scheme, and they have also recorded good figures sales for 2014, all right? The range of $2.1 billion. That's quite a lot. And same as Scandinavian Business Seating, all right? Right, they are a Nordic organization that specializes in eco-friendly chairs, all right? So they have also recorded profits, all right, by certifying the chairs. Okay, so what's the role of us, all right? We are empowered with the market power to change, to create change, all right? Okay, as I said earlier, if demand outstrips supply, there's a possibility of price reduction. So there's two things that we need, all right? One is market power and also demand for that to create change, all right? And along with that comes controversies as well, all right? What is green and what is not green, all right? So this is another important thing that I would like to address, all right, in this seminar. Okay, we are always faced with a problem of choosing from so many different labels, all right? You can see here, there's so many different labels, and sometimes we are faced with a question of, what should I choose? Is this really green? Is that green? So if there are two labels on one product, what should I choose? So these are the questions that sometimes face us as consumers. So how do we go about facing these challenges? Okay. As I said, yeah, there's a massive proliferation of labels in the world, right? We can see tabs like, the one below where it says 100% eco-friendly put on many products these days. So eventually, when we ask the supplier or manufacturer, is it really eco-friendly? Some of them are able to answer, some of them are not able to answer. And many a times, all these are self-proclaimed, which makes it a type 1 eco-label. So not very good to verify because it's not been verified by third party, all right? Okay, so the last point is, the key one would be misleading claims, and I believe many of you would have heard of the term greenwashing, all right? So it's up to us to know what's green and what's not green, and that takes a lot of awareness and education on the part of consumers, right? And not always consumers are in the wrong, because sometimes there might be a lack of information online or in literature about eco-labeled products. So this is something that we have been trying to address also, and that's one of the reasons we are here to share. So what does the future for eco-labeling or eco-certification hold, right? So there's definite need for collaboration between many parties, so that, you saw so many labels there. So is there a possibility in the future where we have one single label or a couple of single labels to make it easier for consumers to identify with and choose their products? And also the issue of comparability, verifying your products, and these are problems that we need to deal with if we are looking at common criteria, or something generic that everyone can identify with. And also very important to have a consistent level of standards. What do we benchmark again? It's not always easy to come up with standards that all countries can meet. Some countries are still developing, some countries have developed, and some countries have gone beyond the stage of development. So that's very important to have a very consistent, easy to recognize and clear standard. And also very important to have a good leadership. Someone must be pushing for this. If there's no concerted effort, then I think everything's going to waste. And it's very important for the standards to be extremely transparent and not overly rigorous and onerous, but something that basically creates a level playing field. And obviously we need enforcement on the ground. We need some form of policing to go and monitor that whatever products out there are really green. Okay, so this is something that happened in 1984. Bhopal disaster basically wiped out the whole community in India, right? Because of the chemical MIC, right? Which is not used right now, right? But it was used in the past, right? So all this has long-lasting effects, right? Especially many of the chemicals you see in your pesticides, your termiticides, and your mosquito repellents, right? So these are all highly toxic chemicals with long-lasting effects on the human body. Okay, so to wrap it off, I'll just mention that, this picture was taken sometime last year where we were experiencing very, very high levels of haze, right? Not only in Singapore, but I believe many parts of Malaysia, even Thailand were affected. So while we might not be able to do anything on the ground, I think our actions, the purchasing decisions we make, can play a part to create change. So as consumers, as I shared earlier, we hold a lot of power, market power, to change certain things. So by choosing wisely and by choosing sustainable products, we can definitely make a change and probably witness clearer skies, right? So thank you, and do let us know if you have any questions.